We're back at the backyard golf course build. We've got some Kentucky bluegrass germinated. We have some creeping bentgrass on the greens, looking very good from a distance. But it is mid-November. I'm pretty far up north, and that means the cold weather's coming. Tomorrow night is going to be quite cold, so it is time. I have to pull out my water pump before things freeze up here. Late this summer, I put the irrigation system in. It was a ton of work, 2,500 feet of pipe, 41 rotors, I believe. And it worked really well. It threw down a lot of water. I had great coverage here, and that is basically how I started this seed late in the year. I was doing a lot of irrigating by hand. And when I say water manually, I just mean I had to change the zones by hand. Not that big a deal. I'm not going to complain too much. I have 9 zones on this property, and I can get the 50 to 60,000 square feet of coverage. So it worked really well. I just had to stand around, let each zone run for 3 minutes. Depending on the weather and the temperature, I had to run these zones 4 or 5 times a day. So it was a little bit of work. The controller I bought is in that shed over there, and it actually really needs the internet connection to work perfectly. And I finally got Wi-Fi into that shed a couple days ago. And now it's supposed to be a game changer where I can water from my phone from basically anywhere in the world. In the spring, I'll do a more detailed video on my controller and the irrigation system that I have here and how it runs. But since I'm gonna pull this water pump here in just a few minutes, I want to at least try it once and see if I can get this thing to work from my phone. Quick run zone, 1 minute, run. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. I can get used to that. Well, I'm glad I fired that up because it's probably 5 months before this thing comes to life again. We've got a long winter up here. I have to blow out the lines today into tomorrow. That's a big job. Get all of the water out of these lines because we get lots of frost deep in the ground here, and I do not want to have anything explode on this system. That is pretty cool. Look at that. The fox has the snake back on the golf green. In the last video, I mowed this golf green at 3/8 of an inch, and a fox dug a hole in the green and left me this snake that it half has eaten. And I threw the snake over the mound, and it brought it back and put it right beside the hole that it dug. Thankfully, it didn't touch the hole again. It's behaving well. But I'm telling you, foxes, no comedy. They are very funny animals. I'm gonna hurl this thing into the bush, and I don't believe it's going to come back. But you never know with foxes. Oh, that stinks. Whew, that stinks. It's disgusting, actually. Where am I gonna put it here? Oh, I should not have picked that up. Okay, you stay over there. That is disgusting. God, honestly didn't think about that. It's a dead snake. It's probably gonna stink. It's a gloomy gray day, but the green looks pretty good. Looks even better in sunlight, but we're not getting a lot of sun these days, and that cold weather's coming, so I'm not gonna bore you with the details, but I'm gonna go and start tearing my pump down and getting an air compressor, trying to send enough air through these lines to clear them out. It is cold, dark, dreary, and depressing. It is the end of golf season. It is the end of landscape season, and I have to blow this sprinkler system out. I have an ancient 2-horse compressor, and I'm hoping it's going to do the trick. All I've done is a quick fitting here, an air compressor fitting going into poly pipe fittings into my main 1.25 inch water line. So my water pump would send water this way. Now we're going to send air that way. So what should happen now is when I turn a zone on, it should send electricity from the pump relay down to the pump that is actually an air compressor, and instead of water, we should send air up the lines, and we should start to see these things pop up. Okay, this should work. I hear the air compressor, I hear water, and now I hear air coming through. Next zone. I'm down to the last zone to blow out. It's taken about 1.5 hours. It's been slow. You saw my small air compressor. That's a 2-horse air compressor, and I have 2,500 feet of lines here, 1-inch pipe. My longest run is about 475 feet. So it was a bit undersized, and I started to use bricks, placing them on the rotors to keep them down, and I would leave the first one in the zone open, and then once that was cleared out and only blowing minor mist, then I would go to the next one and work my way all the way down to the last one, and that's where all the water would go. And once I had them all plugged except the final one, it would blow all the water out. So if you live in a northern climate and you want to play it safe and clear all the water out of your lines, and you can't get your hands on a huge compressor, you can probably get away with a small compressor, one of those handhelds. And if you're having trouble keeping the pressure up enough to raise those rotors. Just put some weight down on them and it works great. Last zone, here we go. So that is my first head, and I have bricks on the other 3 heads, so all of the air pressure is focused on this rotor. And once there's not very much water coming through there, I'll go grab the brick off the next one, put it on here, and we just keep cycling through. And in about 5 seconds, that one should shoot up and empty itself out. There we go. This has worked really well. Oh. All the water pushes to the last one and it just drains itself. And at that point, I think I'm clean and ready for a deep freeze. It is a cold, miserable November day, but all of the irrigation lines are blown out. I feel good about that going through winter because sometimes we get 12, 16 inches of frost here. Like we got a really cold winter, not a lot of snow. That frost is gonna drive deep. So I wanted to have all the water out of the lines here. And yes, if you're looking and you have good eyes, you can see the fox has dug another small hole in the green about a foot away from the last hole. And he's starting to make me angry, but I'm trying not to shoot the fox. I'm not going to shoot the fox. They've been here longer than us. There is a den up on that ridge. It's been here for decades. They're kind of cool little guys. I've got a soft spot in my heart for them, but he is starting to anger me with, I've got a hole there, a little one there, a little one over here. So the fox went 2 nights and didn't dig a hole in the green. So that was a bit of a positive, but now we've had a setback. I'll give him the bunker. He can do whatever he wants in the bunker. I think when this green is tightened up next year in the spring, early summer, I don't think he's gonna dig a hole through a mature setup green. But we'll see, who knows. And to top things off, I put down 5,000 square feet of sod all along my pond, and I had some grubs come in with the sod that I wasn't too excited about. And shortly after it was laid down, something started rolling it up and hunting for the grubs, and I blamed it on the skunk, and I blamed it on the raccoon. And I put my trail camera out, and who do you think it was? It was the fox. But for now, I'm going to attempt to live with this fox. I think we can do it. I'm going to look the other way on some of these holes here. I'm not golfing yet, so we've got time to fix that up. I'm going to hope the fox learns to behave, stays out of trouble. They live right up here. He runs up this hill every night and comes down here and plays around once it's dark. So for now, that's it. We're at least cleaned out. We shouldn't blow any irrigation lines. I do not want to go and fix sprinkler heads and rotors in the spring. That was the goal, get everything cleaned out here. The bluegrass, you can see there's some wash here for sure. I have a bald area in this section, which I thought I would have trouble on this hill, but the sharpest angle of the hill has actually grown very well, almost as good as anything on the entire property. So I think it's on that angle, full sun, had some heat, germinated a little bit earlier than the rest. And then we've got this bare patch here, but I honestly think the seed just got smothered. That silt and the finer soil came down the hill. So I think there's seed under here. Again, I'm not doing anything anytime soon. We'll get out here in the spring and survey the situation, see what survives, see what doesn't. I'm definitely going to be overseeding somewhat, but I think I've got a lot of seed under here. We'll just have to watch and see. Nice to have that crossed off the list. We've got a few more things to do here before we get into some massively cold temperatures and the freeze up begins.